Noise Factory were a small development house established by some former staff members of Atlas that were sort of taken under the SNK wing after the 1999 release of Gaia Crusaders, a lesser known but still pretty acclaimed JP-exclusive beat-em-up arcade game. It was this title in particular that encouraged SNK to let Noise Factory develop the third title in their beat-em-up Sengoku series, which was by all accounts a real late Neo Geo and arcade gem. They'd also take the reins for the version of Metal Slug we got on the Game Boy Advance, and would even put their hand to a King of Fighters game on PS2 in the mid-2000s, so they worked with SNK quite a lot. Still, Noise Factory's catalogue is a little sparse, with no real specialist genre and nothing new credited to their name since 2009, with their doors officially closing in 2017. However, very early on in their career they did give us one of the more unique Neo Geo Pocket Color titles going. Dark Arms Beastbuster 1999, to give it its full Western title, or Dark Biological Weapon, to translate the Japanese, is a mix between a top-down run-and-gun shooter and a trainer RPG, although it's not monsters you're leveling up here, but your own weapons. Cool concept indeed, but not one that the Beastbuster series was necessarily known for. In fact, you could even argue that Dark Arms is a spin-off from what originally was a light gun arcade game back in the early 90s. This original Beastbusters game also had a fairly decent on-rails conversion for both Amiga and Atari ST. So yeah, this version is certainly a surprise. The setting and storyline certainly are interesting and quite refreshing as RPGs go. You play as this Beastbuster, a gun-toting warrior who is able to bodily enter the demonic realm to control these dark arms, the biological weapons that need to be honed and improved in order to be wielded against the creatures of said realm. Note that these aren't biological weapons of the toxic, mass destruction kind like you might find in a more terrifying real-world situation, but rather a collection of unique weapons that are almost alive themselves. You need to find seeds in the world, which you can then cultivate into one of these weapons, and you then grow, enhance, and even evolve them by feeding them which are the captured souls of demons you've managed to kill. On many of the screens in-game, you'll be accosted by many different monsters, from simple zombies and skeletons to more advanced knights and ghouls, and by murderizing them, their will be released. You can hold up to 99 souls at any time, then upon returning to your home base, can feed these to your weapons to upgrade them. It's an interesting system whereby there are actually 31 different unique weapons to obtain if you want to complete this game's decks. This home base I talked about is the abode of one Casso the Shooten Master, a Grim Reaper looking dude who gives us our first weapon, the Catcher, which is the net that you can see on the bottom of your screen. This is what collects the souls, but thankfully it's automated, you don't have to actively do this. You also have a health bar down there, which can be replenished by sleeping in the bed you're given in this rather well appointed for a human, demonic house. The bar below it is your power gauge, which is essentially your cooldown bar for your gun. This goes down as you fire and slowly charges back up, ensuring you can't just spam your weapons as you'd like. It's a simple but vital addition that stops this game becoming absurdly easy, and forces the player to consider their positioning much more. You'll have to dodge and camp out while you're getting your power back sometimes. Still, having said that, the game is definitely on the easy side, as every time you re-enter a screen, your enemies respawn, meaning you can quite easily fully evolve your weapons fairly early on. I guess that's true of a lot of RPGs that don't have a grinding block built in. Think how over-leveled you can get in something like Dragon Quest if you're prepared to put the time in. It's obviously up to you how much you're going to work at it, but probably to get the most enjoyment out of the game, you really don't need to do this. It's more fun to try out all the different stages of your weapon's evolutionary trees anyway. Another thing that sleeping does is change the overworld between day and night, which is important. Enemies are time specific in that some only appear at night, some only appear in the day, meaning their souls are only obtainable at that time. This is important to figure out if you're going for a certain type of evolution. The types of souls you feed your weapons dictate what type of upgrade you'll get. There's the standard RPG fire, water, electricity triad of elemental properties that you can apply if you want, but they're certainly not necessary in this game. Often, enemies can be made less of a threat by simply coercing their movement patterns into a position where you're out of reach. They're often not smart enough to figure out they can just walk around a chasm, for instance, meaning you can pick them off from a distance. Hey look, this isn't the most challenging title you'll find on the NGPC, but it certainly is one of the more unique. The gothic horror aesthetic is superb, dark and grim settings and monsters, and some definitely spooky music to accompany it. A really vibrant and thoughtful use of colors that still somehow manages to be atmospheric and moody, and the animation is fun. Gameplay-wise, it's really simple to pick up, although the whole seed, gun menuing interface can be a little unwieldy at first. Perhaps it's a bit thin from a story perspective, but if you really throw yourself into the collecting aspect, you'll probably have a good time with Dark Arms. A bit of an experiment for the Neo Geo perhaps, but a successful one.